Yes. So, hello everyone. We welcome you to this event from Engineering to Psychology, Challenges and Opportunities, which is held in association with SWE IIT Roper and Chemical Engineering Society. I'm Vansi Sardesai, a second year undergraduate in Chemical Engineering at IIT Roper, and we will be coordinating this event along with my teammates Achal and Arpita. So before we move ahead, I have some instructions for the attendees. You have to keep your mic on mute and video camera off. And if you have any questions for the speaker, you may write in the chat box and we'll take it later. Arpita?
Today we have with us Ms. Zara Patorei, who pursued psychology from Yorkville University after studying and working as a chemical engineer. She will share her journey and experience in psychology, counseling, and mindfulness, and will also answer some questions from the audience. Ms. Zara, we're really excited to hear from you, so if you could please take over the session.
Thank you, Nancy and Arpita. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Hello, everyone from all over the world. Good morning to the ones who are in the morning, and good evening who are at the night time. I hope you can enjoy today's session and have few things to take with you. Okay, so let's begin. If there is any problems, please feel free to put it in the chat box, and I will be helped hopefully on that. So for my agenda today, I will be talking about myself, telling you about my engineering past, the inspirations for change for me, the path of Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology, the opportunities, challenges, what is next for me, and questions and ideas. I was very fortunate to have many questions, so we will focus on them a lot. I'm originally from Urmia, which is in Iran, the border of Iran and Turkey. I lived there for the first 18 years of my life. My family, all my roots come from there. We speak Azeri there, and I learned how to speak Turkish via TV over there. And then I continued moving to Tehran, where I started my school as a chemical engineer and for my bachelor's degree at University of Tehran. From there, in 2007, I moved to Canada. It was August of 2007 that I came here, and I chose Calgary to be home. So I have been in Calgary ever since, and I'm enjoying Calgary weather, the Chinook, the cold, the snow, and the everything about here. My engineering path started at the University of Tehran, the Faculty of Engineering, and I started with chemical engineering. It was, I can say it was not my passion. I wanted to become an engineer, but chemical engineering was not the first thing that I wanted to do. But life took me there, and the entrance exam at Iran took me to chemical engineering. From there, I came to Calgary and I got my master's degree from University of Calgary, which was a journey of its own. It took me a while to figure out what is it that I want. I started with Master of Science and the project, and then I decided that I'd rather work as a research assistant and continue to get my Master of Engineering which was course-based. From there, I had a little bit of a break to take care of my son, and then I started working at IMV projects. You see here, I call it Wood Group Mustang. It is because our company was bought by Wood Group Mustang. I was working on SAGD projects, the feed and pre-feed design stages of the project, and we were basically working with HISIS. Back then it was called HISIS because it was in 2011 that I started there. So Yeah, I guess there are many process engineers, chemical engineers here who know what I'm talking about. But then after a while, the projects were canceled, recession-like thing hit, and the first thing you turn your head and you know is that you're laid off. It happened to me as well, so I had to find a different job. I went to DPH Focus, and you again see a different name called WSP. It's because our company was bought by WSP in 2014. So the initial small company with the people very friendly switched to the bigger 15,000 employee WSP. It was a very good journey there at WSP. I was working as a process engineer, but at the times that there was no work, I would go out to anyone. I would even go to our president of the company asking for work because we again hit recession here. I basically worked on multiple gas plants here at WSP. My last project was designing, or not designing, actually, using the Aspen Flare system analyzer to make the whole PSD system of a Husky plant. So yeah, and it was a very inspirational and interesting journey. I really loved my work. I loved the people I worked with, and I can say I was sad the day that I had to resign to change life path. From there, let me tell you about the inspirations for change, because that was a question a lot of you have asked and something that I wanted to focus. The thing is, life happens. It's not always one smooth, planned, I know what I'm going to do. These are my goals. This is the way that I'm going. All of a sudden, a COVID hits and everything just boom goes down to earth. So it was the same thing for me. Many things in my life happened that were at the moment very painful, but later turned to be my big teachers of the change for me. And as you see, change is the only constant in life. There is nothing that will stay the way it is, no matter if it is as hard as the current situation of the COVID. I know everyone is experiencing lots of hardship. It's the same for us here. We are in a half quarantine kind of life, not seeing anyone. Life is kind of on hold outside the homes. Everything has to be done at home. So it is quite hard to handle. But at the same time, knowing that it will not stay like this is a big, it's a big hope for future. So that was the same thing for me. I knew change will happen. And in that path, books helped me a lot. I had a very busy life like everyone else, had no time for anything. So the thing that helped me with books was listening to the books when I was driving. So I listened to many inspirational, spiritual, self-help, I don't know, you name it, nonfiction, fiction, anything you can think of. And it kind of helped me to finish a book every 2-3 weeks. And I really can say that I owe my courage to change to all these books and the stuff that I learned and read in those books. And of course, in the people, in the masters that taught me during the way, either with their books or their videos, or I went to their workshops and tried to just learn as much as I can from each of these people. And then one day I stopped to see, okay, what is my passion? I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving the process engineering job. It is so mind challenging. I get to go to work with people who are very passionate about their jobs, and I'm enjoying doing it. But one day we were with friends out. One of them was telling us about the books he reads before night, and he mentioned the Holman's heat transfer book that is sitting in his nightstand, and that's the thing he reads every night before bed. And it made me think. It was one of those aha moments for me. I was like, I don't have any engineering book on my nightstand. It's all psychology books. It's all spiritual books. So maybe I have to think deeper about the path that I'm going. And from there, it came the friends, the community, and the challenges that all of us were facing. I myself was going through tough times in personal life and was really needing lots of support from outside community. I was seeing counselors. It was not the best fit for me since I had cultural differences. So it was always on my mind that what if there could be someone understanding me in my background and could be help for me. So that was then that I decided, okay, yes, I'm going to do this and I am going to change the world. I'm going to do this, helping all my community. And as soon as I started, I came to this point that we all have heard multiple times, but it never clicked with me this hard that it is myself that I have to start working on and digging deeper into myself. Then I went into the process of my Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology. I was and now I know last year of my work that actually 1 year before starting my school, I started searching about what schools I can attend because I had read so many books by then that I was like, I know this is something I really want to know more about. And maybe doing it through a more systematic way, going through school can be more helpful. It took me a year to get the courage to start sending the application. And Yorkville University, since it is an online university, gave me the opportunity to both continue my work and, of course, continue with school. So I was accepted at the Yorkville University and I had to take prerequisite courses. It was a tough time, I have to tell you. I was working full time, had my son full time, my parents, my personal life and challenges, and then school. So it was basically like school after 9, 10 p.m. After putting my son to bed, rather than putting my exhausted self to bed, I had to start studying because I cannot carry these two huge weights with me. One is the counseling and the other counseling psychology and the other is chemical engineering. So I need to start choosing. And having already earned my professional engineering and I was almost an intermediate engineer, I was like, I cannot lose anything. So how about I continue in this other field that I'm interested in? So I started volunteering as well. One of the places I wanted to volunteer was Calgary Counseling Center, which I was aiming to be a place that I take my internship there. And actually, it ended up being the place that I had my internship, and I ended up seeing many people who needed counseling at Calgary Counseling Center over the past year. And from there now, I'm kind of trying to get registered with Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association. That is one way to move forward since I want to get registered and work, not the only path forward, but this is something I really like to do as well. And one of my major goals is to do this that I'm doing the group education and the individual counseling, trying to teach and consult and counsel with anyone with whom I can connect and we can connect and help each other. So in my experience, volunteering played a big role. Like I started with Women Emergency Shelter in my son's elementary school, and then Calgary Counseling Center, and of course, Distress Center. Volunteering at Distress Center played a major role because that was the place that I could experience firsthand what is it that I'm gonna experience. It was a place that I was seeing people who were in trouble and coming to ask for help. Up until then, I was living in the engineering world. In the engineering world, problems happen, and I was not the the working in the, the demanding, all of a sudden something happens and I had to give a result. It was like we had the data and we had the problem. We had the time to work on it step by step, break it, design it, do simulation for it, and find answers. And of course, definitely to do consultation with my manager, with other people there. But here at the stress center, I experienced being one-on-one with a person who was in imminent need to support, and that was mental support. That was what I told them would matter. And over there, when I could, I might even say saved some lives, because we were connected to suicide hotline as well. I had calls from people who were in the like the there that I'm going to kill myself. I have already taken the pills and I am dying. You are the last person I've called to talk. And that was the moment that I was like, okay, I am the only little thread that connects this person to life. So what can I do here? All of these experiences made my belief stronger that I am going in the right path after experiencing what I was feeling after that. Then, of course, school, all the books and lectures that I read, and the finding myself journey was the huge part of this experience for me, helping me move forward despite all the challenges, all the obstacles that I saw. And of course, the internship at Calgary Counseling Center, which included talking to many people, doing counseling, and specifically because I was the intern counselor there and I was not paid anything. So I was referred the people who were not financially capable of paying a lot. So it was like multiple problems all together in the life situation. And besides that, having the money issues. So it was making it a broad range of clients that I was seeing, which was very helpful for me in saying yes to myself, that yes, this is the way that I want to go. One of the major opportunities coming out of this decision was me finding myself. I originally started by the goal of I want to help others. And as I went deeper into the journey, I was like, I guess I have to start with myself. And I really mean it, really, really need to start with myself. So any exercise that I would give to my clients, I was like, I have to do it myself first. I am the first, what do we call it? The lab rat for myself to do all of the experiments first. And then from there, if I see it is working, try to connect it with other people. So I started by helping myself and my family first. From there, I started learning more. The biggest opportunity for me is just learning anything I can, like in child rearing, in how I am treating people around me, my friends, my family. All of the learning that I have done through this journey has been super, super, super helpful for me. The mindfulness journey, the how can I stop all those thoughts. I read so many things in our books and practiced them, and I saw how useful they were. So it's a huge opportunity. And then the biggest other thing is the helping others. Through this journey that I have taken, I've been able to help people who are struggling. As I told you the story of that one person who took the pills and just called me as the last person to talk, I was able to help people who are at the end of their rope. But my biggest goal, the major reason I came to take this journey was because I knew there are so many people in life who are like mentally healthy, who are just okay. But the thing is, we're just surviving in life and not thriving. Learning more and reading more showed me little tips on how is it that I can thrive this life, even this, say, pandemic time that everyone is locked down. There are multiple ways that I can look at the situation. But my school, my change of thought has helped me that, okay, I can either look at it as a huge obstacle towards my improvement, or I can just see it as a stepping stone. It is something that I'm learning from. So that is one big thing that I'm focusing on rather than, I know it is very important that we have clinical psychologists who help people who are dealing with mental issues. But a lot of us do not have that. It is like 4% in the society of North America that are dealing with serious mental issues. The day to day, I get sad and upset for a few weeks. We call it depression. The anxiety I get for the exam, and all of those stuff are really natural and normal things happening to us, trying to teach us how to handle things in life as they come. So that is learning how to thrive in life rather than just surviving whatever comes to happen to us. And I had the opportunity, and I'm still having the opportunity in learning that and trying to teach that to people. And oh boy, challenges. It was all new and there was a lot. All I decided to do was that I will jump all in. Let's see what is next. It the challenges started with the question of, is it the right thing to do? Am I thinking the right way? Am I doing it in the right way? And from there, it came to me one step at a time with the signs that, okay, yes, I'm on the right path. That was and is one of my main challenges, the fight going on in my mind saying that, is it the right thing that I'm doing? Another challenge, which is like a real and practical challenge, is the financial challenge. Deciding to resign from a process engineering world and going back to school means lowering the income to zero and then dropping it to minus a gazillion because school is expensive here. I was very, very, how can I say, blessed that my family were the major support I had. So financially and emotionally, they supported me into this, and that made this challenge doable for me. From there, it came finding the network because I was amongst all engineer friends. Even right now, all my surrounding friends, people I know are from the engineering world. It took a lot of courage for me to reach out and find people who are in the new field that I wanted to go. And still, yet it is still a challenge. I want to reach out and connect with people who are in the new field. Another challenge that I faced was learning itself. It was a long while that I had stopped learning, and I have like what I call a math brain, which I can learn how to design. I can learn how to use equation and everything, but my brain, I have never trained it to memorize things and to remember things. So, and one thing about this field is that you start using the other side of your brain, which in engineering, it's like a lot of the left side, and you're doing lots of designing, thinking, problem solving, but here now we're a lot of connecting with myself and in the moment things. So it was another big challenge for me. And I had many more challenges. I don't want to stop on the challenges. So yeah, since I had a lot of questions already sent to me, I decided that I will cut my presentation short and move to the questions as soon as I'm done. I hope I didn't go super fast. It felt like talking super fast. I hope you are bearing with me and no one is asleep. If you're asleep, start doing some stretches, go up and down, make some breathing, and let's continue to the questions. Hopefully we will get the time to even answer some of your questions if any comes up in the chat box as well. Okay, one of the questions, or let's call it question one, is what and how can be the knowledge of chemical engineering, can the knowledge of chemical engineering fields be implemented and useful for psychology and mindfulness? Well, I think I will say this to all of the questions. It's a very good question. And it has a couple of different sections. It says what and how. And I love it when questions are asked this way. The how questions are the best questions. They're the ones that teach us what to do, teach us critical thinking and problem solving. So now, using the knowledge of chemical engineering for, let's focus on psychology first, then we will move to mindfulness. And I have to step back and say, I will do my best to answer the questions to the best of my knowledge. I know I'm not the perfect person to answer all your questions. You might get a portion of your questions answered. A portion of it might stay out there, but at least I hope that I can give you a direction, a hint, even the smallest hint that you can cling onto and move on to finding the answers for yourself. Okay, now back to the question. In the field of chemical engineering, we do a lot of process design. We do a lot of problem solving. We'll do a lot of, I have this huge plant. I'm working at this gas plant. It's made of a gazillion things. But I do not go start by saying, okay, I'm designing a gas plant. Bring the paper and start doing that. No, I start by breaking down the problem to little solvable problems and start focusing on each of those little ones. This aspect of me as an engineer and working as an engineer helped me a lot in my psychology field, because I would see someone coming with the huge bundle of problems. I have this, the childhood issues, the trauma, the things happening now, the stress, the COVID, the pandemic. I don't have a job, my family, and it was a huge plant of enormous problems. My skill set from my engineering degree and my engineering work helped me a lot in trying to stop, look at the big picture, and trying to break it down into little more solvable problems. And it was something that is a life skill, because as a chemical engineer, you don't say, okay, I begin as a chemical engineer here, and then I end here, and then me and Zara start here and go here. No, it is a blended me of the chemical engineer me, of the counselor me, of the mom me, of the daughter me, of the partner me, of the friend me, all of them blended into each other. So that is what I can use. And the how of using it is by just implementing all of those skill sets that you have. Thinking outside the box. Not only this is what is said on the book, so I'll use it. No, just go ahead, think outside the box and see how is it that you can use this as a technique for solving your problems, for doing things that you want. And about the field of mindfulness, I have two quotes, one from Eckhart Tolle, one of my the most favorite writers. If you have not already read his book, start with The Power of Now, and it is life-changing. I would say it has done that for me, one of the first books that I read. And he says that stillness is where creativity and solutions to problems are found. So I talked about all this designing, the problem solving, all this big picture and all of this. Diving into the problem requires the moment of standing back, being still, no thinking, and just being present at the moment. And there's another quote from Einstein saying that I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. So definitely mindfulness is something that we can use it in a variety of aspects of our life. let's say you're a chemical engineer, a physician, a psychologist, or like someone in tech, or you're the, I don't know, anything that you're doing at this moment. Say I'm a cab driver, I'm a janitor of somewhere, I am in whatever field. I'm just a mother, I'm the stay-home mother, and I can use this mindfulness and stillness of mind to be peaceful in what I'm doing. So another question is how I should go for higher study in clinical psychology after having a bachelor's degree in engineering. I love this quote. It says, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step, and that is how you will go to the higher study. You take the very first step. You open up Google and search clinical psychology school, clinical psychology book. And from there, you will find multiple different things. And to the person who's asked this question, I would say you already have taken multiple steps because you are here. You are taking the first step, though. I don't know, maybe not even the first, maybe you have taken multiple steps before, but you are taking the steps, doing it to get there. And then the other quote that I have used in multiple places actually in my presentation is, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Start doing. Start volunteering. Start talking to people who you think have mental problems, who you think you can help them. Even, let's say not even talk, just go sit with them and listen to them. And from there, you start building that spirit in yourself, that knowing that is this the path that you want to go to. And then from there are multiple resources out there. You go, you search for schools, you just send an email. What I did was I just called the school. I basically Googled, what's it called? Yorkville University, got a phone number, and I called. Someone answered. I said, hello, I want to talk to someone to see how I can get to your school. And the first thing I said, wait, I just have a master's degree in engineering. I have nothing in social science. Can I get accepted in your school? And then I learned the ways that how to do that. Later, I wanted to switch school. I wanted to go to University of Calgary. I went door to door to every prof there, and I were like, do you accept me as a student for you here? I worked for 9 months, and guess what? I couldn't get in, but I learned so much from it. So another short answer to your question is just start doing it. Start searching for schools, and then when you start, you fall on the path of learning, of doing, and that will take you to where your goal is. Okay, am I going too fast? And we're good with time. A third question. Somebody is asking, is it okay to have interest in biology after choosing engineering? Absolutely. I'm too interested in brain. They fascinate me. Well, absolutely it is okay. Why not? Sometimes we just need to change the direction. Sometimes we're searching in the wrong place. And we will never know until we turn to the other side and try seeing what is happening there. It doesn't mean we will lose the previous side that we had. It just means we will broaden our perspective. We will see more things. And now you are an engineer. You have chosen engineering. You're doing your engineering degree. Through that, you find that, okay, maybe I'm interested in something else. And one other thing you can do is to combine your interests. You have completed an engineering path, and from there you're like, okay, I'm really interested in brain. Go seek how you can implement that engineering in that interest. Like one of our major teachers who I can say is the first person who created EFT, we call it emotion what's it? EFT, emotional freedom technique, and he is a chemical engineer. Originally, he graduated as a chemical engineer, continued working as a chemical engineer, and then, same as me, he was like, yes, it's called Dr. Green, actually. And then finally, he's like, yeah, this is not my path. I want to go to a different path. And he became one of the most influential people in our field, teaching one of the very effective ways. And EFT, I said it wrong, it's not emotion freedom technique. It is, I forgot. Emotion freedom technique is another EFT used with a different field. I will remember later and I'll tell you. Yeah, it's the presentation, and sometimes the brain forgets things. Okay, let's move to the next question. Reasons for studying psychology, and what challenges did you face? I guess I answered this question a lot, but I have two quotes here for you. One says that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. For me, as a student, I was ready, so my teachers appeared. I mentioned the book of Eckhart Tolle, one of my very good friends. Actually, she is here today as well. Gave the book to me in 2008. I read the book and I understand like this much. Zero. I was like, yeah, this was a very good book, but it didn't move me. It didn't take me into a different mindset. Later in 2014, 15, I read the book and I couldn't stop crying in different concepts I was getting from it. So I, as a student, was ready. So I could see and feel the teachers that were given to me. And another thing for me was that, like, as an engineer, I was moving to the ladder of success. I got my PhD. I was going to be a senior engineer, and all of those were going. But this Viktor Frankl quote is a very nice one. It says, "Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue." There was another thing that made me realize that this is not the path for me to continue being an engineer. I need to make a change because I am chasing for success, for that happiness a little too much, and it is running away from me. That was when I stopped, I paused, and all the other things came to me, helping me to ensue that was taking me with itself, my inspiration, and all the teachers that I mentioned, all the books, all the gurus, all my friends, all the things in life that I was seeing differently. And about the challenges, I think I told a lot of them. Yeah, let's not focus on challenges anymore. One challenge that I want to mention, yeah, like, is now how to fit in this new community, into this new place. I'm looking for work now. I'm like, okay, and I want to get registered. I go get the requirements, and I say, okay, I don't have the enough credentials of school because my bachelor is in engineering. So, yes, challenges. There are many. I'm trying to find ways to move around them rather than looking at them as obstacles. I'm trying to look at them as opportunities. That's one reason I'm moving towards having a private business for myself, trying to help others. Okay, another question, actually one of the good ones. Let me see, we have 20 minutes almost there. Just how to avoid overthinking. And this is a life thing. It is something that can help us in our everyday life. Initially, I will have two quotes for you. One of them from Rumi, a poet, from a Persian poet, actually, that has amazing teachings. is a very great place to start diving into self-awareness. And he says, put your thoughts to sleep. Do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking. And maybe all of you are saying, okay, I know I have to let go of thinking, but how? Bear with me, we will get there. The other quote I am bringing you from Eckhart Tolle, as I said, my favorite author. He's saying, when your attention moves into the now, there is an alertness. It is as if you were waking up from a dream, the dream of thought, a dream of past and future. So what he says here, he says, move to now. So how to stop overthinking? Move to this moment. Let go of past, let go of present. But it is not easy. It requires a lot of practice. I don't want to say a lot of learning new things. It's more like letting go of whatever you have learned. It actually, this question only can have multiple webinar sessions to go through together. But like, I decided that I would just share a couple of grounding techniques with you. I know you can find multiple mindfulness and meditation techniques, and I'm hoping that a lot of you are using them daily in your life as a way to quiet your mind. But if that's not something you're doing, there are some other stuff called grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are ways of using our thoughts and minds in a way that we help them stop it. And it's by redirecting the attention and the focus of the thoughts. When my thoughts are going crazy, as you called it, overthinking. In depression, we call it rumination. As I'm ruminating about the past, as I'm worrying about the future, which is anxiety, which is happening a lot right now because we don't have many things to do. We don't have many people to interact with. So the only place left for us to go is to go into our mind, is to start thinking, either past or future. So one of them is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. And with that, you just sit. With every grounding technique, start with breathing, take a deep breath, and just internally focus on 5 things that you can see and mention them aloud. Okay, I can see the laptop, the chair, the cushion, the book, the 5 of the things that you can see. Go slowly and try to see the smallest things. Not like me, I can see the wall, I can see the window, I can see the couch. It's like the huge things that are in front of me. Just go for small things and focus to your senses and our 5 senses. And then 4 things that you can feel, touch, like the texture of my clothing, the texture of the floor that I'm touching, how my hair is touching me, or how my ring is around my finger, my watch is around my wrist. And any of those, bring your full attention to your sense of feeling. And there are 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. I need to go a little faster. And another fascinating one that works a lot, and I use it with even my son when he is overthinking, when he is in the crazy mood, it's called ABC, whatever. You can call it ABC grocery shopping, ABC animals. You just pause, close your eyes, and start, for example, going to the zoo alphabetically. Okay, I close my eyes, I go walk in the zoo, I start with the first cage, starting with A, ants. I know we don't have ants cage, but like, let's say we have. The ants cage. In my mind's eye, I see the ants walking in the cage and everything. Oh, let's not call it a cage. Let's walk in nature now that we are just imagining it. So let's be more imaginary. So yeah, and from there continue to the B. Let's go. Okay, now I want to go to baboons. Let's go see some baboons. From there I go to C. Let's see some cats. And continue this on your mind. This helps your very fast, super fast racing thoughts to slow down and take you into a different level that can allow you come to the present moment. Okay, so what are the reasons for you to switch to your domain from engineering to psychology? Switch your domain from engineering to psychology, and if it was an interest, how did you find that? That's a good question. I would say I didn't find it, it found me. I kind of didn't search for it. It's like we search for things that are lost. But when we stop searching, it's the moment that things come to us. And as I say, I had Eckhart Tolle's book and it's sitting in my shelf since 2008, but it was 2014 that it hit me. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. Also, did you find any benefit or limitation of having studied engineering while pursuing the field? I would say no limitations. I can say there were problems, but it was not limiting me. It's like whatever you learn in life, it can help you in any other, because you are learning skills. You're going for the skill, not only learning, memorizing the whatever field it is. So that skill stays with me, especially if I practice it a lot. And as I experienced, one of them was breaking down the problems to smaller problems. And here, to answer the first question of interest, I have this quote from the Dalai Lama that pain can change you, but that doesn't mean it has to be a bad change. Take that pain and turn it into wisdom. And yes, pain and tough situations in life were one of the reasons, one of the tools that helped me in changing my path, because I started using it, started seeing it differently, and trying to make it into an opportunity for myself. Sorry if I'm going super fast. I feel like I'm running out of time. What are your views regarding the acceptance of disciplines of chemical engineering and psychology among scientific fraternity? I would say they're both very accepted, although psychology is a very new science. It is not, let's say, as old as engineering, let's say math, physics, which have like a huge history. Psychology is like 120-year-old science, but we are digging deep into it, and there are so many new things that no one has found, and like an everyday renewing field. It's a field that you cannot say I got a degree 10 years ago and I'm good to go now. No, you have to keep learning because new things are coming every single day. Do you find any differences in the broader outcome of both disciplines, for example, serving for betterment of humanity? And I have the quotes from Martin Luther King here, that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So see how you can serve others, serve the humanity in whatever field that you are in. It doesn't matter. You can be the mom for your son. You can be I mentioned multiple different career choices that you can have. You can be anything. And in that, you need to dig deep down into yourself and see how is it that you can serve the humanity. As a chemical engineer, I was working on a lot of the safety stuff on the plants. And I always kept telling myself that I'm designing this PSV. I'm hoping that if God forbid, in a million years something happens in this plant, this PSV that I'm designing can save the person who's working in the field's life and be a good thing for their family. So in any field, you can think of ways of being of service to humanity. What are the opportunities in the field of psychology? After pursuing B.Tech, I would assume that's Bachelor of Technology in technical field. The opportunities are endless. You are learning skill sets in any discipline that you are in. You're not just learning 2 + 2 = 4. It is not just that in the exam I will use that. No, you bring that with you into the real life and use it. But then comes the loving of what is it that you are doing, the passion that you have in it. You have studied in that technology, in the technology field, and then you want to move it to psychology. There are so many different research fields happening which require lots of data matching, which require lots of data analysis. So as a technical person, I'm not sure if I've understood your field right, but I'm just trying to give examples of different fields that you can bring in, merge here with psychology and use it. And I have another quote from Steve Jobs here, which says, follow your heart and your intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And that's absolutely true. I would add follow your gut here as well. Our guts are never lying to us, and that's how we feel about things. And the quote from Simon Sinek, he is one of, like, I love his work. He has been an amazing leader, helpful for me in different aspects. You know, there was the spirituality, the inspirational quote, readings, teachings from multiple teachers, and then the leadership and all of those practical other aspects. Simon Sinek has been one of them I have been learning a lot from. I am learning a new subject and have difficulties to keep up. How do you deal with learning something new? Dive in. I know it is scary. I know it is fearful. But like I had the second quote in the past, start doing. I know it's not easy. I absolutely know it's not easy. It's a new subject. The first thing is to lower your expectation of being perfect in everything from the very beginning. Look at a child, look at a baby. They start with nothing, basically knowing nothing. They don't even have a digestive system. You have to help them digest the milk they are drinking. And they go one step at a time. They learn one step, they perfect one step at a time. And then from there, they learn every new thing step by step. So I know jumping into a new subject is difficult, but difficult does not mean not doable. It just requires a little more, maybe passion, maybe more time. Just you need to put more effort to it. You need to have the grit in. You need to bring in the doing, the non-sleepless nights that you have to study more. And then from there, let go of the expectation of I want to be perfect in this. I know the exam times are coming and you are having lots of stress. Oh my God, exam, what should we do? I don't know this. I take a deep breath and let go. Do the best that you can do. And then let it all be. Let the rest be. Like, I was not like this in my engineering degree, but I tried this a lot in my counseling psychology degree, to let go in the exam times, not to stress. I want to read you this other quote as well. It's a little too small. One can choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. Learning a new subject can be fearful, can be tough. But if your choice is to grow, keep going, keep doing it one single step at a time. As a counselor, what essential knowledge do you feel that we need to understand to improve your quality of living? Empathy. In one word, empathy. Empathy. I can't just say anything else. It's learn how to be empathetic with other people. Learn how to sit there and listen to them. And you don't need to be a counselor. You don't need to study psychology. You can do it in any field and discipline that you're in. And the thing that helps it is by here, Tamara Levitt, one of my favorite calm authors, actually says that if we're strengthening our muscles of awareness, acceptance, and non-judgment, we are making progress. So make progress in that field of being empathetic towards others and more importantly, towards yourself. I have 4 more minutes. More questions?
Zara, first of all, I think that I really appreciate you because all these questions were provided to you yesterday, and you worked so hard, and I would say, you're so well read, and I would say with the amazing quotes, and which are so well, I would say, appropriately fit, that I think I'm just totally inspired and in awe of the wonderful presentation that you had. And I want to convey the same energy because what has happened, unfortunately, is that you are not able to see this audience, you're not able to hear them. But there are some very good questions on the chat box. So may I request Parisa to please unmute her mic and spell it out. I know that it's on the chat box, but we would like to hear from you, Parisa. If you may please unmute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asad.
Uh,
Hello. Uh,
Hello.
Hi. So I think I got my answer, but I think it was true when you were answering some other questions. I put the question: what's your favorite book or podcast that you suggest, or what was your actually tipping point? What changed, inspired you? Any ideology or book that kind of inspired you to change direction?
Okay. Thanks, Faisal, for asking the question. Well, Eckhart Tolle was the major one. Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer. They were the first two ones that I keep reading their books, and I'm getting inspired from them. But from there, it comes so many different other names keep coming in, like Brené Brown. I have been reading and listening to her several times, and it can be anyone for each of us. You see a quote from someone, you just see the name and go search that name in the books for that name. That tipping point that you told me was the hardships that I had in my life. At some point, I was like, okay, I cannot continue going like this, struggling by just doing and going harder and harder. I was like, I'm just exhausting myself. And the tipping point happened when I stopped, when I paused, stopped doing, and just went into the full being and the moment. Thank you for the question.
I appreciate Parisa for switching on the webcam and appreciating the speaker. So before I take Sai Krishna's question, may I have David, if you are still there, just wanted to compliment you for being all the way from Aberdeen, Scotland for us. And if you please unmute your mic and then share some of your thoughts, if it's possible. I think I'm having a little bit of a difficulty in connecting to David. So I'll just take the question. Sai Krishna, if you may please unmute your mic, if it's possible. And then followed by Shubham, please.
Hey Zara, that was a fantastic presentation from your side. I really learned a lot from it. I just wanted to ask you that you found yourself at a stage where you're facing all these challenges, right? Like, how did you come to know that this is myself that I want to do this or like learn this aspect or move towards this side?
Mhm.
How did you come to know that?
So let me see if I understood it. Thank you so much first for your compliment. I appreciate it. I'm glad that it was helpful. Is your question like, how do I know that I'm on the right path?
Yeah, yeah, more like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing. You never know in your life. You are never 100% sure. The thing that helps me in being more confident in knowing that, okay, this is what I'm doing, is that it is making my inner self peaceful. I'm feeling the joy within when I'm helping someone who is in the like the verge of committing suicide. I feel the joy filling in me. And don't get me wrong, I have the days that I question myself. Is it the right thing that I did? What if I just stayed at my job and just continued the engineering? I already had a job. I got my PhD. I had everything. I was just moving in the direction that I already had worked so hard for. I get those moments as well. But then I come to doing meditation. I just come to pausing and letting go of all those thoughts. And then the signs come to me that I am on the right path. Another huge support is the support of friends and family, like the community. It is not always only me and myself. We are social animals. We don't live by ourselves. So the encouragement of my society, like I post the LinkedIn post and I received say like 5, 6 likes, and one of my friends, one of my connections connects to me and messaged me that it was very helpful to me. I feel the joy. I feel it. Yes, it is the thing that I want to do. So those little moments and the doubt will come. It will definitely come. Try to step back, stop thinking, is this I'm doing, is this the right thing? Just step back and go into your deep, peaceful, joyful inner self. And the feeling, the gut will not lie to you. I hope I
Uh,
answered your question.
and thanks for the question, Shubham. We are just waiting for you to, if you can unmute your mic, if it's possible.
Hello, Zara.
Hello?
Greetings that you provided so vivid description without using any technical jargons. My question
Thank you.
is that, like being a counselor psychologist, how do you deal with the burnouts that you have dealing with the patients? Because emotions are contagious. So it's not query. Actually, I'm just curious to know if you may.
Mm-hmm. A very good question, actually. And it happens to me, the burnout, especially with the COVID, with the fact that I am working from home. We are all working from home. Like, not we are all, but like a lot of us are working from home. Before COVID, I had strategies for myself. I was like, I know I have my personal life as well. I have my personal challenges as well. So I cannot bring in everyone that I see their challenges with me to my home, to my family, to my kids as well. So I had the strategy of when I was leaving work in the car, in the few moments that I, minutes, 10 minutes that I was in the car, was the transition time to my normal myself life. But now at work and home, it is not super possible. So what I'm adding to myself is a lot of self-care. The self-care is the biggest thing that's helping with the burnout. And I read about the initial like just to see when the burnout is happening, and then I stop. I give myself a 1 day break. I'm like, yeah, I see. It's like, and as you mentioned, I'm a human being. I connect with my clients. I feel their pain. And it is not easy to feel both your pain and, like, say, 10 other people's pain during the day. So I need to practice daily self-care strategies to let go of it. And at times I need to just give myself a full break. For the last couple of months, I was on that break of the burnout of all my school and counseling. So I was like, I will take the time out. I know I will lose on, let's say, earnings and stuff, but a strong me can keep moving forward, not a me who is burnt out and is tired and just dragging my body and my emotions with me. I am taking that me to the session. I don't want that. I want a fresh, available me into the session with my client. Thanks for the question. It's actually a good technical question, and thanks for your compliment about the webinar as well.
Thanks, Shubham. May I just request, because since we are just in the end of the webinar, anybody who would like to unmute their mics and share some thoughts in the next 1 or 2 minutes, are please welcome to do so. You may like to raise your hand and even speak, or you may just like to unmute. And a line of introduction will be appreciated if there is anything.
Hey Zara, again Shubham here.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello, sir. Yeah.
I'm also a PhD scholar in psychology. So the way you explained your journey throughout the being a chemical engineer to the counseling psychology, um, yes, it was very helpful. Being like to the students who are just pursuing their graduations, they are not aware of what psychology is, especially in Indian context. Yeah, I also observed that most of the time when you were mentioning about how you overcome the challenges in your life, you are reappraising them. That is a key factor when you deal with any distressing thought, because usually what we do, we go to the negative appraisal and we continually ruminate about that. So yeah, that was a very nice presentation, along with that, quoting all these lines that were too helpful, especially I like them. So yeah, congratulations and thanks for that. That's it.
Thank you, Shubham. And for our hosts, Mansi, Arpita, and Achal, any thoughts that you may like to have uh, for Zara?
Yeah, thank you so much, Zara, for sharing your experience here with us today. And like, I really feel that it was like a really bold step that you took to follow your passion, and it definitely motivates us to do the same. And also, thank you so much for answering all the questions so honestly and being so open with us today. Thank you so much for all of that. I really appreciate all the efforts you put into this presentation. It really shows. So, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zara, for everyone from. Yes, Mansi, please go ahead. Sorry.
Thanks, Zara, for sharing all this. I was really inspired by these quotes and everything you mentioned. There were some of the queries which were from my side also, which were answered to the questions from the audience, and I really enjoyed the session.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, everyone. And I have, as you see, please connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the only social media that I am on. And if you don't mind, share with me just one thing that you will remember from today, 20 years from now, that you think you will remember. Just like one sentence, maybe one little concept that you think will stick with you even 20 years from now. And yeah, thank you all. It was really a pleasure. It was really such a audience full of energy. I didn't feel any stress. I was so comfortable with being you here. So thanks again from me to all of you.
Thanks a lot, Zara, and definitely I would like to connect offline regarding Rumi and its significance in Persian culture and philosophy. So definitely that would be something that I'll be taking forward. And in addition to the nice time that you had spent with our students, we are really grateful and appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
If
Thanks, Zara.
ever you are interested having another session together on a different topic, I'm always very interested in spreading the stuff that I've learned. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you for your graciousness. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night and good day.
Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Have a
Bye.
good day.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all. Have a
everyone.
wonderful day.